Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Mayor Tyler Moore Show here on the Kokomo Post, partnered with Robert Miller & Son Furniture. My name is Drew Larison. This is MTM. Mr. Mayor, how are you?
I'm well, thank you. Coming off a fun and exciting and action-packed weekend.
I was going to say, tell me about it. How did it go?
It went very well. The kids and young adults of Kokomo's Curtain Call Theater for Kids are crazy talented. It was just a lot of fun. Those that don't know, they put on the production of Charlie and the Chocolate Factory this past weekend.
Yep.
I had the distinct honor to be welcomed into the Curtain Call Family Theater, or back into the family, after 2 summers ago, making a brief cameo as Theodore Roosevelt, but this time was asked to participate as Grandpa Joe, and it was a lot of fun. I mean,
you got to lay in bed.
I got to lay in bed for the first part of Act 1.
That's nice.
And then get up and kind of show my stuff. But no, it was a lot of fun. Again, Colburn Lambert, who is not a stranger to theater, acting much in many productions himself, directed this one, gave Jeremy Leesenby Bruce, who is the executive director for Curtain Call Theater, a chance to kind of step away and take a breather and do more behind the scenes and let it happen. But he did an excellent job, especially when after the call for auditions brought out over 100 individuals.
Wow.
I mean, kids, because they just threw it out there. I mean, it's Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, so you knew there was going to be a need for a handful of Oompa Loompas, and a lot got weeded out, but still to have that many kids as part of the ensemble, not only what he was able to do, but Jenna Winters has helped choreograph a number of productions. So she did Molly Lewis, who was also Mrs. Bucket, also helped with choreography. But again, the handful of the stars of the show are graduating seniors and are all heading different directions. So this was kind of their final Curtain Call Theater production as students. Now, I mean, obviously there are roles for older alumni or older individuals to help out. So
Sure.
A handful may come back later on in life if they land here in Kokomo. But just a great time. Kudos to IUK for allowing the production to be held in Havens Auditorium. A lot of fun, great partnership with J. Edwards Chocolate coming to the table as well, and creating Wonka bars as a fundraiser for Curtain Call Theater. Those were over the top fun as well. Andy Mark Robotics putting together the elevator. So it was the little robotic elevator. Yep. And so that was very cool, and I think a fun project for them as well. They even brought some of their robots to show off out in the lobby during intermission and after the show. So very cool there. But just handful of individuals couldn't make it happen without the volunteers and without a lot of the extra hands, especially parents and those that were part of the crew, moving scenes and bedridden grandparents on and off the stage. So a lot of fun.
Well, I mean, what
Very
you just
blessed.
described too is like one of the cool things about what makes community theater, right? You talked like 2 local businesses that chipped in and chimed in and made that show better, you know, by putting their skills and their talents to the test. And I mean, that's what it's all about. And like getting kids to experience local theater, theater just in general is really important. That's one of Aaron and I's favorite things we've been able to do as a parent. We love going down to Beef and Boards in Indy with our kids, and you get the meal and the show all in one. And luckily Aaron's parents love going down there too, so they're actually like season ticket owners down there.
Perfect.
And it's a really cool thing watching your kids just be in wonder.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And we've talked about putting our kids in a few shows, and it's always like a scheduling issue or something like that. But it's a really cool thing for kids to get involved in.
That it is.
Do you have a favorite moment from the show?
Something that ended up being scripted. So during my only dance number, where I finally get out of bed, halfway through after I get dressed, I wasn't totally in my underwear, long johns.
Civic
and
theater.
Civic theater, yeah. So I get dressed. I start dancing, obviously, after being in bed for over 40 years. have a difficult keeping balance and everything, and so I end up falling during halfway through the dance number. That was not originally scripted; it actually happened during rehearsals. Kind of jacked my arm and shoulder up a little bit by doing it, but the director came and he goes, "That was great. Did you plan that?" I was like, "No," and he said,
"Let's
plan it."
Yeah,
that as part of it. So that was kind of, but no, I think just, that was fun. I mean, just to see how that came about. But as for a fun favorite moment, I mean, I think there were so many. Just being on stage, but just watching some of the others, like when watching Madeline, who played Veruca. I mean, how the spoiled brat. I mean, just her, how she played that, in the sass from Riley Morris, as Violet Beauregard, and Randy, who was Mike TV. I mean, just how he, just how they all embodied their characters. I mean, I don't know if there was, any one particular favorite,
Violet,
moment,
you've gone Violet. Classic too. Classic show.
Yep.
Yeah. No, it's a great show.
Yep.
Great
A lot of
community
fun.
Theater. Great local community partners.
Yep. And they announced that Wizard of Oz will be this their fall show. So in October,
that was just at
Beef and Boards.
Mm-hmm. Nice, love that.
So
Very cool.
So October.
Which I've only done one show in my life, and it was the Wizard of Oz when I was like in 6th grade. I did like a Wizard of Oz show. They named the whole play after me.
Really?
I was the Wizard of Oz.
You were the wizard.
That was the character I played.
Very nice.
I was watching that. It was actually really funny. We were at Beef and Board seeing the show, and I was somehow found all my friends' numbers that were in that show with me in 6th grade, and we had this fun back and forth. We were playfully talking smack about the other actors that do this for a living, and how they had nothing on us when we were in 6th grade. And
well, maybe you could reprise that role as the wizard this October with Curtain
Pay
Call.
no attention to the man behind the curtain. It was great. Great show. Well, what's going on at City Hall this week?
What's going on at City Hall this week? Little partnership with the county, because the county's getting ready to close the bridge there on Markland.
Okay.
Not on Markland, on Dixon, at Markland, and gets some of that
been delayed
work
a little bit, right?
Been delayed a day or two, but that's fine. We're getting. I think I talked last week. Tomorrow we actually start milling up and reconstructing Hoffer Street, which has been on everybody's mind and part of the city's plan for probably over 4 years. It was being designed a few years before I took office, and finally made its way. Again, what a lot of folks don't realize and stuff, and what it was something that frustrated me coming in too, is that you want things done, but because of the size and scope, and you need funding, and so there's applications, and so things that were being done, it finally worked its way to the top. We lost out on it last year, but was able to do it this year. So getting ready to start Hoffer Street. Took advantage of a little bit of overtime. Folks still had some limbs and leaves down from recent weather events, and so kudos to our street department for turning in some extra time over the weekend to get some more of that cleaned up. I've had a lot of questions too, and I don't know if it's one of them. There has been a few stretches of streets, kind of central south, that had some a material applied to it, and it goes kind of brown. There was a little bit of sand to help with the finish too, but that's rejuvenate. And so there's this process that Clint Van Adder, the street superintendent, came across that other communities use. That so it's applied to recently paved roads and streets in the last 2-3 years to help preserve what was paved and extend the life of it. And so he gave it a try with a few of the streets that have been recently paved in the last, 2 to 3 years. And the most noticeable stretch there is Dixon from the Markland Bridge all the way up to Boulevard. So we're going to see how that works out and see if it becomes an annual practice on streets that have been recently paved to extend the life.
That could be huge.
Could be huge. Helps.
And I'm guessing the cost makes sense of whatever the cost of that product is compared to completely redoing the street again. Makes sense.
Yeah.
Man, it's a great product.
And what he has discovered in talking to those other communities and departments that have used it.
It worked out.
So, yep.
Love that.
Yeah.
I did have one more question about the show.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm like
It's okay.
Monday afternoon sleepy. Did all the kids freak out like the mayor was in the show?
Yes.
And also, like, how did we miss out on the opportunity of you being the mayor of the Munchkin Land? Or what's that character's name? There's a guy that's
coming up.
Oh, different show.
Different
That's
show.
why.
Yeah, that's coming
Okay,
up.
but in general, did they freak out because the mayor was in the show?
There was a handful of. I mean,
you guys don't know this. Like
a lot of the younger ones are like,
who?
So
Yeah.
I mean, because I got there and the entire time it was Grandpa Joe, so it was just Grandpa Joe. But some of the older ones are like, oh, that's cool, and some of them that were in Newsies 2 summers ago and did that, they were excited to see me get a little more involved with it.
So much sense if you come back and you're the mayor of Munchkin Land or whatever it's called in the Wizard of Oz show.
If I figured I'd be too tall for that, but if I could do
make it
like
work.
Tim Conway, the dwarf,
There you go.
you
On your
get on knees with little shoes coming up.
Because you guys
so
don't know
we'll
this,
see.
but like when he comes in the office, and sometimes people that work there, their kids are here, and specifically Pam's kids. Well, specifically one of Pam's kids, Annika, who is like straight lace, super smart kid. If there is a rule, her number one goal in life is to follow it. That's Annika. Love that. Not me. Good for her, though. But like when she first found out the mayor was in the office one time, this was back at her old office, she was like, what? And she like stood up straight and like started fixing up things to make sure it looked nice. And Pam was like, what are you doing? The mayor's coming. It was like funny. It's like you're like the king of the world. And, you know, she had to make sure she wasn't breaking any rules when you were showing up. It was really
But yeah,
funny.
there were a handful of kids, yes, thought it was pretty cool that the mayor was taking the time to do something cool with them.
Love that.
So
very cool.
Very blessed.
Okay, well, we don't have a lot of questions today. It's going to be a shorter show than normal.
Okay.
The last few weeks, we've had a lot of pre-show questions. We've only got a few this week, so we'll get you out of here quick. But if you have any questions, leave it in the live chat. I'm watching the live chat right now to see if there's any questions that come through.
But again, today's show still would not have been possible without our friends at Robert Miller and Son Furniture.
That's very true. They are the partner for this
They have anything going on right now?
I don't know.
I bet they do.
Wait a minute. They have a giant sale going on.
Still?
Yeah, well, it's still July, right?
That's probably why it's still hot outside.
Oh my gosh! During this
coming
hot
from Robert Miller and
summer, shop for handcrafted Smith Brothers furniture so that you can relax in luxury while indoors. Get out of that hot inside, be on the air conditioning in your comfortable furniture. Enjoy a 30% discount on all Smith Brothers furniture pieces. Robert Miller & Son has the guaranteed lowest prices, so come in today and seize the savings. Can't say enough great things about Robert Miller & Son and Smith Brothers furniture. Made here in Indiana, some of the best quality stuff you can get. And usually when you have the best quality stuff, never is 30% off tagged to that. So it's great savings. Go check out Robert Miller & Son. For that 30% off all Smith Brothers furniture. All right, so the first question kind of has to do with roads, but not fully like paving of roads. Michael, actually through text message, how does one petition for a lower speed limit on their street, and what is the feasibility of that actually happening?
Good question. Depending on, because all residentials, I think by ordinance anyhow, are 30 miles per hour or less. 35, I think, if it's depending on the area, but a lot of that is already established. They can petition the City of Kokomo Traffic Commission. So there's a separate appointed board made up of citizens and some employees of the city that comprise the traffic commission. That request can be made to the commission for consideration, and what they do then charge the engineering department to then look at a speed study of the area, traffic count, and such. And so, I mean, in either fortunately or unfortunately, a lot of times what's discovered, I mean, you're right, folks typically ask, if they can, reduce the speed limit, if they can have speed bumps put in, if they, speed bumps seem to be one of the biggest requests, but it's because they're out front and they see somebody zipping by, and so those traffic counts then obviously counts the number of vehicles that travel through there, but then also record the speed, and either fortunately or unfortunately, like I said, more times than not, they're traveling. The average speed is the speed limit or less, and so it may not warrant reducing the speed limit. And even further unfortunate is the case is that even if you adjust the speed limit, those that are going to be tearing through neighborhoods or, whatever the street may be, even if it's up and down Ohio or Dixon or whatever.
They don't
I
care
mean,
the
they're
speed
going
limit
to,
is anyway.
they're going to do it anyhow. And so the engineering department, if folks want to consider speed bumps, we're working together or putting together a formal policy with that. And so what it would be similar to the sidewalk program is that you would need a certain percentage of a particular neighborhood to petition to have speed humps considered. As much as they may deter, they do become issues, especially in the wintertime. If we're plowing snow and such, they could get caught and get either torn up or do some damage to blades unless the drivers know where they are. And a lot of times too, if somebody hits one of those going at a somewhat higher rate of speed, it can lose a little bit of control. Not to say that they don't work, but basically, long answer short, they can make a petition to the Traffic Commission through the engineering department for consideration.
Got it. Okay. Next question is from Henry on Facebook. He's talking about fixing the bridge on Dixon.
Okay.
And if there's a possibility they can just do the rest of Dixon all the way to Sycamore because it needs it done before winter.
I know. And again, size and scope of that as well. I mean, yes, it definitely needs addressed, but with what's already on the books now and with the amount of money going towards Hoffer Street and potentially North Street as well, because as we said, we were doing contracting out north from Ohio out to 931, and so we were going to take it back to Phillips. Also using some additional funds to hit Berkeley from Jefferson out to Judson Road, because that's I don't know. There's just, I get it. I mean, there's so many streets and roads that do need more attention than just some Band-Aids, patch, fill, fix. But it's definitely on the radar because of the amount of traffic Dixon contains, especially with the size of grain trucks and construction trucks, that use it on a regular basis. So may not be this year. I mean, I know it's not this year. May not be next year or year after, but it's definitely on the radar. So it could be here in the next 3 years or so.
Okay.
Unfortunately.
The next question is from Bill. How do you dispose of an old piano?
How do you dispose of an old piano? You can set it out to the street and contact the street and refuse department and make arrangements for them to come and pick it up. Now, I don't know if there's anything recyclable in there that you don't want folks to have to worry about taking a lot of it apart. You could probably call Mickey and her team of the Howard County Recycling District office to see if it would be better because of the innards of the piano to be taken there. Otherwise, again, probably better off just making arrangements with the street and refuse department for a pickup and wheeling it down to the side of the street.
Say this too, Kokomo Marketplace or Facebook Marketplace. Maybe somebody out there, I don't know if it's working or not, but you could possibly sell it on there and then they can come pick it up.
Even if they don't plan on playing it.
Maybe it's a decorative thing,
or
or something like that. Yeah, you really can sell anything on Facebook Marketplace these days. Last question is from Jeff on live chat. Thanks for the question,
hey,
Jeff. Lincoln and Berkeley could stand to have a turn light. Commonly risky to make turns north and south due to speed and visibility of cars going east and west.
Got it. So
Lincoln and Berkeley.
Yeah, so we just widened that a few years ago because of the congestion through there. So, we can look at that. I was thinking, is there an arrow on the north-south along Berkeley? Because a lot of times if they put, protected left turn arrows, they do it in all four directions. So we'll definitely take that into consideration, and that's something, too, that can be presented to the Traffic Commission through the Engineering Department for them to consider. So when I get back, I'll ask about that possibility. It may even be something that that they have in the makings as well. We would probably check with Kokomo High School also to make sure that they're good with that, because I know there were similar concerns a little further north at Boulevard in Berkeley, and how it affects timing with the bus routes and such too. So definitely look at that at Lincoln and Berkeley.
Got it. Another question on live chat from Jessica. I think we could benefit from a light at North Street and North Apperson Way as well. I see accidents in that spot, along with people running that stop sign almost daily. North Street.
There you go.
Yeah.
Okay.
Another light.
Another
up there.
thing. Yep.
What kind of process is that to put a stoplight in? Pretty in depth, right?
Same type of thing. I mean, any type of marking, because we've had some folks in neighborhood areas ask that there may be two-way stops to consider that being a four-way, and so same type of thing. Look at traffic counts and such, and traffic flow, and to see what the volume is, and if it warrants breaking up traffic flow. You know, if you have stop signs too close together. But yeah, I mean, that would probably be one that could be considered. I guess I could go back and ask some that have been around for a while why that hasn't been considered for a stoplight in the past.
Gotcha.
So, because that is quite a heavy traveled intersection.
Okay.
So, makes sense.
Longtime watcher Lori is in the chat.
Hey,
she
Lori.
says, "Hey guys, I might be moving to Marion. But I'll come back here." She says.
All right.
I don't know, here being this show
probably.
She watches every week, or maybe.
But I know
Kokomo.
I mean, she typically chimes in on our summer concert series.
Oh yeah,
Haynes Apperson, all kinds of stuff. So maybe that's what she means, that even though she'll be away, she'll still come back and enjoy all Kokomo has to offer.
Yep, absolutely.
That's
Thanks
cool.
for watching, Lori. And then Jeff actually made a comment back. He said, "Not on all four directions."
Okay.
For the Lincoln and Berkeley could stand to have a turn light. So a turn light not on all four directions, or I don't know. Jeff, I recommend getting with the mayor at his office or mayor at thecitykokomo.org. You guys can chat with that, making connections.
Yep.
All right, so those are the questions we had today. Mr. Mayor, do you have a dad joke for us?
Yeah, so talking about the show, getting a lot of fun. I got a lot of one-liners and stuff through part of that, and I could always tell. I mean, the little kids that played, not just the Oompa Loompas, but they were little pieces of candy too. I could always tell when they enjoyed some of the witty lines that I would say.
How would you know?
Because they would snicker.
It's a candy joke.
It's a candy joke.
Because Snickers
a candy bar.
That's good. I like that one. Thanks for watching this episode of the Mayor Tyler Moore Show here on the Kokomo Post, partner with Robert Miller and Son Furniture. If you have any questions for the mayor, leave them in the chat below. One of the questions today I pulled from last week's show that somebody watched when it wasn't live. So I do watch out for those. So if you have any questions, leave them below. And if not, we'll see you next time, Kokomo.
See you, Kokomo.